Greetings, friends, and thank you for joining me in this video, which comes to you annually from the Society for the Increase of the Ministry. My name is Courtney Cowart. I'm the Executive Director of SIM, where I have been doing this work now for 8 years. But this year, I feel like the report is particularly exciting. And there's so much going on that it is going to take me a few minutes to share it all with you. So I invite you to sit back and relax. If you want to pause the video, get yourself a cup of tea, and sit back and prepare to be really inspired by what I have to share with you today. So first of all, I want to draw your attention to a link in this email that will take you to this year's issue of the SIMinarian, which is a journal that publishes the tremendous work that our scholars are doing across the church. Each of the pieces in the SIMinarian are actually written by our scholars, and it includes sermons, essays, theological reflections, poetry, you name it. But it really is, I think, the best resource for supporters to get a sense of what you're supporting when you support SIM. Because ultimately, the dollars that you give to SIM support people. And these are not ordinary people, far from it. Our Becoming Beloved community scholars are each extraordinary. So now that I've drawn your attention to the journal, which I really hope that you will read, I want to tell you a little bit more about the scale of the work that we are doing now. First and foremost, I really want to celebrate the fact that SIM has now given out more than $1 million in scholarships to this particular category we call the Becoming Beloved Community Scholars. Over $1 million. And we've been doing it long enough now that we've been able to build an extraordinary community of 100 recipients of these scholarships. So now it's not just a small group of people who share the commitments that we're looking for when we select our scholarship recipients. Namely, that is that we are looking for people who can demonstrate a calling to ministries of justice. So there's a very particular focus to the scholarships that we're giving. Each and every one of these 100 scholarship recipients are people who feel that they have particular vocations to the liberating and healing work of becoming beloved community and are actively engaged in these kinds of ministries. So imagine for a minute, you've got a group of young emerging clergy, for the most part, who are all committed to these kinds of ministries, who are being supported by you, and who have now gotten to know one another and are beginning to share the work that they are doing and the ideas that they have with one another and support one another. So the scholarships are actually a way in to building a kind of beloved community through SIM. In fact, I just got off a Zoom call with a bunch of our scholars, and it was fascinating to hear some of the things that they had to say. And one of the conversations that we were engaging had to do with the potential of this group as it grows larger and larger every year, and how the relationships that are built among people who have in common the fact that they were all becoming beloved community scholars and cross different seminaries and theological colleges and so forth, but where they have a sense of identity as a beloved community scholar can really support people who are recipients throughout their ministries. I mean, long after they leave seminary. And we think that there's something really valuable in that as well. One of the members of our board, Stephanie Spellers, who was on Michael Curry's staff at 815 during his primacy, who's now on our board, was with us in a retreat at Cayuga a few weeks ago. It's the kind of retreat that we do once every 7 years or so to do some really long-term visioning and looking at where we've come and where we're headed. And I took the SIMinarian journal to the retreat and shared it with all the members of the board. And Stephanie, who actually helped develop the entire Becoming Beloved Community initiative for our denomination, and has done this work for almost a decade now. When she read this journal, she said it was the most powerful writing on the topic that she had seen in a decade. And that's how incredible the people who we're funding actually are. And as the numbers increase, as we're at 100 and counting, we start to get a sense of the impact that this cohort, if you will, of cutting edge justice leaders are going to have on the Episcopal Church. And I want to say a little bit more about this retreat because the primary focus of the 4-day process of discernment and designing the way forward that we engaged was fundraising and thinking about where we want to be 7 years from now. And if we think about, what $1 million plus has done for 100 emerging leaders of our church, and we begin to imagine what another $1 million could do for 200 leaders of this ilk, knit together, as we say, in a community that stays connected throughout their ministries. We really begin to have a sense of where we're headed and what our big picture goals are here at SIM. And that's what I'd really like to talk to you about now a little bit in conclusion, because you are very much a part of making that vision a reality. I am just so interested to see, as word spreads across the Episcopal Church about who the beloved community scholars are and the kinds of ministries that they are already engaging even while they're in seminary, as well as the ones that folks are engaging as they graduate and are ordained and move out across the church. As people begin to really understand who these leaders are and how we're supporting them with scholarships, but also as their advocates, lifting up their voices, helping their wisdom be heard across the church, listening to them as they explain to us how, say, changes in Obamacare are shifting their health insurance costs from $200 a month to sometimes over $2,000 a month, and those kinds of financial realities that they face. You know, and as more people across the church really get it, I'm so interested to see what we can do in terms of raising funds to scale this work up, because we are funding about half the people who apply to us. And in the last year or two, we have felt that every single application was of a caliber that deserved funding. We're also funding people at about half of their total need, and that is something we'd like to do better on too. So let's say, people really get the picture and we're able to raise $5 million and double our endowment over the next 7 years. Just imagine the impact that this work can have. So I think what I'd really like to say as I kind of wrap up my time with you all today is, first of all, to say if any of this is sparking something in you and you want to become more involved in SIM, I invite you to just pick up the phone and give me a call or send me an email, and let's get together and have a conversation. I think that there are a lot of people out there who really would get a lot out of being a part of this work. It's really, really gratifying to get to know this new generation of leaders, and it's enriched my spiritual life, and I feel like it can really enrich yours as well. So first of all, I just invite you to let us know of your interest. Let's get to know you better, and let's talk about what you might do to help us reach our goals. Secondly, we've got the short-term goal of this immediate annual campaign, which we do every year. And I'm really hoping that we can, increase our giving as our accomplishments grow, that folks' giving will grow as well. So I also want to encourage you to dig deep and to be as generous as you can, and to become a part of all of this in that way as well. And finally, I just really, really want to encourage you to spend some time reading this issue of the SIMinarian, because it is such an eye-opener. These are not young people with a lot of growth and spiritual development ahead of them. These are people of extraordinary wisdom and courage and commitment, with their feet firmly on the ground, who are seasoned in this kind of ministry and experience, and who are working incredible jobs, full-time positions, while they're also doing full-time studies, and already making tremendous contributions to the church. And that really comes across in this issue of the journal. So I really want to encourage you to take the time to read it. I think you'll be inspired and really kind of blown away by it, as all of us at SIM have been. So I just want to wish you a beautiful Thanksgiving, a holy Christmas, and we will be sending other videos out from the SIMinarians themselves, from other members of the staff and the board of SIM, to tell you more about this incredible family that we have, and hopefully to let you know how much we appreciate, deeply appreciate all that you've done for us and with us so far, and also get a sense of the opportunities to become more deeply involved and to do even more. God bless, and have a beautiful Thanksgiving, a beautiful Advent, and a very holy Christmas.